Hello, and welcome to another Alpha Centauri Let's Play. It's Northstar. Uh, my might's up to formidable. That'll deter the Spartans for a little bit, especially as I keep doing some recon rovers. Maybe make some leeway for bigger projects like the Command Nexus. So, I am here. I've had a few technical difficulties with OBS cutting in and out. I think it's due to a numpad, and apparently the 7 key on the numpad being double bound as a home key. I don't know. Um, Something's up. But I'm back and hopefully won't have more problems with that. I'm playing as Law of the Peacekeepers, like all the factions in this game, a very multi-ethnic, ideologically oriented faction, because factions are divided not by nationality but ideology in this game. That's how the crew fragmented. Commissioner Lau is canonically from Pakistan, where there was a nuclear war between India and Pakistan, as Earth was burning itself down in its final days. And he became the ship's surgeon. He had been a doctor and treated civilians who suffered radiation poisoning and such from the India-Pakistan war, something that was looking all too likely in the 90s, and sadly is still looking all too likely today with Modi and the fascists in power in India. We also have fascists in power in Italy and fascists trying to take over the United States, which I need to get the hell out of. I live in the U.S., American, like a 16th generation American. The system probably freaking wants me dead because I'm disabled, long COVID, and have no use to capital. So, welfare programs being cut. I'm trying to get the heck out. Now here's Peacekeepers. Unfortunately, even with planned economy, it hints that maybe it's not a socialized economy, but more of a highly regulated, like social democracy. In which case, the Peacekeepers really are lib shits, liberal shits, as in, yeah, I'm a socialist. Socialists do not like liberals. Liberals are often hypocrites and take half measures to solve problems like income inequality that can only be solved by nationalizing or turning into workers' cooperatives the means of production. Socialists almost want to do something about commodification, which I think I talked a little about before. That's a harder problem. The way that everything is turned to commodity, how even stuff like sexuality are commodified, how workers are alienated from the fruits of their labor. These things are all things that socialists, indeed Marx, talked about, but they're harder problems. But the easiest one is to make sure that workers control the industries. Heck, workers' cooperatives exist all over the capitalist world, and they exist in socialist world too, such as the Soviet Union's final decade. During Gorbachev's reforms, it was one of the better things he did, but he did so many things, some crazy things, all at once, with some people in his administration trying to sabotage the Soviet Union from within, such as his chief of media, who wrote a memo that's been published, where the guy said he wanted to restore capitalism and destroy socialism, and that he thought that was real freedom. He wrote that, and there were people on the CIA payroll within the Soviet government. In the end, it was a system itself destroyed because, one, corruption, two, people didn't believe in socialism, even in the ruling class anymore, and three, they lost the propaganda war with the West, even though they had a higher long-term GDP growth rate and a longer-term vision, including dealing with stuff like global warming eventually, than the U.S. or the West. So now we're in a world there's genocides everywhere. We got Rwanda, which is the quote Israel of Africa. We got Israel doing its thing. We've got still never come to terms, the West, with stuff like the Japanese genocide against Chinese civilians in World War II, which Japan is a U.S. ally, so they get a free pass for not apologizing for that. The Indonesian genocide, the East Timor genocide, the Bangladesh genocide, the Guatemalan genocide. So you might see me do some shitty things as well, is the point eventually, because liberals are hypocrites and they don't fall on the right side of history in the end. They may be better than the conservatives, but Stuff like if I get sunspot activity, maybe nerve stabling some pops because you don't suffer sanctions if you do it during sunspot activity. It interferes with communications enough that your government can basically do a cover up and deny that you ever did it. And that's one part. These aren't the good guys, really. The talents of the upper class. The UN are rich people who, they're philanthropist types who think they're great because they do some good things, but ultimately they still retain control of everything and do shady things too. Geez, at this rate, I'm looking at the power charts. I'm going to be behind the hive soon. All right, still behind the Gaians, but the hive is surpassed the university now. That's surprising. I guess in the original, where it was hard to pop boom, that happened more. Even the hive could pop boom nailing crossfire, but it was very rare for any of the AIs to do it.
Enemy
Period.
project initiated.
Oh no.
Production
The hive started the command nexus. I might like to do that myself, but yeah, I don't have the tech yet to even start on the command nexus. It's doing a lot of recon rovers.
Production complete.
All right, border agency is doing a former unit, and then it's going to be recon rovers. rovers everywhere. I think if I look at my military command nexus, is in this, not as in secret project. Yeah, 3 recon rovers and 7 in production, so I'll have a 10 before long, plus the scout rover and 2 uni rovers. 13 rovers, and that won't be the last. So large, I have 17 scout patrols, 1 in production. Lost 5 already. So yeah, I'm going to have a large force of rovers. Now, there are no great generals or any of that kind of thing like in later games. I think that was at least a nice feature of later Civ games. I liked that in Civ 4, but you couldn't get them against barbarians anyway, usually. You had to fight other factions, other nations. And they would never forgive you for going to war. It was hard to tempt them into war like you can here with spy actions, basically, probes. It's much easier to get war as you want. To manipulate this AI. Alright, a direct line to that monolith might seem safest, but actually it exposes Mindworm attacks from either of 2 directions. Go this way. Now there can be elevation bonuses in combat. You're fighting down against enemies who attack from downhill and such, but it doesn't actually, although in 1,000-meter steps, so not really relevant. It's not actually active in the game normally. There's something in INI files, which I should consider going and changing the screen resolution, but I probably won't mess with that. Just that it's theoretically possible to make that setting change. Alright. Scout rover, poke over here again. And back. It's a weird sound that's basically supposed to be the sound of a rover pulling to like a airlock or something. There isn't precisely toxic, but too much nitrates breathed in can make you very high and disoriented. There's rich in it, so you need some air filtration and just stopping. Airlocks are one of the easiest ways to just stop much of it from seeping into living spaces, which might not be completely airtight, but probably have to be pretty close to it. So I do imagine it. I think in some of the books it talks about airlocks at times. on the bases. People don't wear airtight suits, but they do have airlocks for where they live, so they can live without suits inside, obviously. Recon rover. At least they don't have to wear pressure suits. It's not space suits they wear. It's just rebreather masks, basically. Brand new recon rover. Eventually I could start trawling the fungus for worms as a way to get energy, and train up my units. That's a little risky to do, though. Right now, probably get this up to disciplined and then do that. Safer when I have a strength advantage, even a small one, because the worms will probably be at the equivalent of green morale. As the game year progresses, worms spawn at higher morale levels, higher life cycle, especially as you do eco damage, so they'll become more of a threat over time. Well, I've got my 2 energy, 2 nutrient, 1 mineral base there. Yeah, it's worth noting. Can do this now. Stupidly, though, look at the psych. It seems, at least in the base game, or maybe it's one of the unofficial community patches, they made it so specialists are still subject to the happiness stuff. At least initially, you can have so many of them you won't have drones, but they really shouldn't be. I swear it was different. Maybe they changed the nail in Crossfire and the community thought that, ooh, that was an exploit or a bug. No. Specialist jobs are easier. I disagree with a technician being just as unhappy as someone who's out working the fields near mindworms and having to wear suits all the time. It's a much harder job than being, a base technician, so maybe repairing base facilities. Or maybe even it's like data technician or something. Librarian jobs should certainly be easier. Which I think I unlock at planetary networks, maybe. Systems librarian, yeah. When I get planetary networks, I can run research specialists. And that job should definitely be, it's not easy, but I don't know, people should probably be default content working those jobs. I wouldn't have minded if they had different tiers, like technicians maybe are a little less happy than librarians. Maybe they all produce some psych. But anyhow, I'll still build a specialist economy. Just run so many specialists. I won't have drones, but I also won't have golden ages. Eventually. That'd be late game. At which point I've already probably won after I've dealt with the Spartans, who have a base right there, collecting this nutrient on the river in the monsoon jungle, which this should be producing 5 nutrients and 1 energy currently. Like, not capped or anything. Parade ground will get huge. Okay. Tried to defend most of my formers for good reason. It's doing that on alert move nonsense again. I do not understand that. I really should have looked up between episodes what on alert does. Alright, scout patrol. What can I do with it? Sorry, I'm just sipping my coffee here. I did a lot of videos today. I decided if I could get to 5 or 4.5, one of them was a shorter video today, maybe I'd buy the Bloody Season Pass for Stars. I've been waiting for sales, assuming it's still at the same price as it was before, because eventually I'll do a Let's Play of that. So it's one part rewarding myself for productivity and one part investing in a new Let's Play I really need to do eventually to get viewers. Also do a Civ 4, Fall from Heaven 2, maybe a generic Civ 4. There's a lot of things I can do, especially due to Civ 4's modability. I guess I'll just have to... Why is there... Yeah, there's formers in the base. Just built them, didn't I? Size 2 base, which means it's 20 nutrients to place a citizen if the base gets attacked. If. Which doesn't happen that often. It's more likely formers on the field to go attacked. All these nutrients. I'm building towards farms now, but they won't really pay off till I can better develop my bases, have rec commons, more places and such. So maybe nutrients in the long run are more valuable minerals, but maybe not at the second always at every base. I don't know. And maybe they are. Should probably keep the base defended, but we need to deal with this stupid fungus. Hold on. Let's see. I'm going to grow a couple more times. The next pop will be a worker and the next a drone. Unless I have a police unit present. Which point they could have a golden age at size 4. Actually, I think it's 4 is the smallest, right? Away with a police unit though. This could be a recon rover seeing the base. So it's still got to do a bit of growth. Rolling moist. Flat rainy. Rolling moist. This one I can put a condenser on. Alright. Former turns are worse than things, so I'll...
Terraform complete.
Yeah, the scout patrol lead the way. Maybe I'll have it go back to the base next turn to protect it. But for now, I did that to both protect the former and get a former turn saved as opposed to a high odds. 2/3 odds, in fact, of the former getting bounced trying to move in. Scout Patrol also had 2/3 odds, but it was only 4/9 them both getting bounced, so. Alright. You know, I multiplied 2/3 by 2/3. So yeah, one of the reasons I built extra formers before after losing a Scout Patrol to those worms. 18 minutes. Need to hurry up. Also, let's turn up the volume a little. Is because I decided formers obviously have economic utility in terms of base development, but they also can help provide some military utility with sensor arrays and cutting back fungus. And I said that was probably a tiebreaker in just doing a little more in the way of formers. Although I'm done with them now. Probably won't be adding more besides the one that's in the works at Maritime Command. It's just recon rovers, secret project, and if I can get doctrine and loyalty, I think that's the tech. For the command nexus, yeah. Also allows permanent defenses, but leads to intellectual integrity, which allows police units and non-lethal and high morale, so better trained troops. And the Citizens Defense Force. But yeah, if I can grab that tech next, then I can try and beat the Hive to command nexus. I don't mind so much the Hive gets as long as the Spartans don't, though. So which base grows first? Eh. Monitoring agency is the one that would work this. Alright. 13 turns. Which point? Yeah. Work a farm solar panel. 2 energy. They get 1 econ and 1 waste, probably. Alright. 1 econ point isn't terrible. Basically, solar panels on this ridge, farms everywhere, mines, and the rolling terrain, especially if it's also rainy. I can produce enough food to not fall below 2 nutrients, so tiles produce just enough food to support the workers and the mines, basically. Alright, another recon rover. Probably send it here, because then it could take over defending. Is it called disciplined? Here, maybe? Boom, boom, boom. Had that scout patrol go there. Took over, just did a little rotating around. Because I do want to upgrade that scout patrol disciplined. A disciplined recon rover. This keeps visibility on the fungus here. Don't know if that prevents spawns, but it's good to at least see the worms or tempt them to attack my field units rather than bases or infrastructure on the, they can store mines and such. Mindworms. Mindworm. And this unit's trying to do the brain rot where it moves for no reason. So many of them are. Guess I'll just hold this position. Or put it on sentry, that'll work just as well. Keep the unit alert in case something does show up. We should just stop doing the on alert, start doing sentry. But give me 1 sec here. Alright, I tried to check, but I can't find anything on this. On alert, I would have sworn I've seen it attack units that move into zone of control before. And some people say it does, some say it doesn't. I know it works with air units, which is probably what it's meant more for. But I keep having problems with units that are placed on alert, deciding they're gonna just go random places. So, maybe I'll just sentry them. which at least achieves the desired effect of them waking up if need be. And they should still heal. Because if you put them on hold, they can lose all their movement. If they're if like units have a turn order within a turn, within a year, and if it comes and goes, they lose their movement, even if you might end up wanting to move them because, say, a Mindworm came near them. So Sentry is better than hold. In fact, I'm going to put these on Sentry. These units that unit that on hold. Just in case. Seems to sometimes work with the base if there's only one unit on it. Could also be a fully automate air defense. Type thing. I'll select pause after every battle. So the battle is not my turn. I'll get a second more to mentally process what just happened. I wouldn't do it if not for my long COVID, but can't change the fact I'm stuck with it. Alright, I gotta move things all though. 27 minutes already in this video. Disciplined Maritime Command support for the Scout Patrol. That one's green. It's off to the monolith. Future Scout Patrol, so that I can just go to that monolith. It's closer.
Indigenous life form.
Lovely. I was just trying to. It probably wasn't there already. I was trying to scout out for stuff up here, but I think I accidentally spawned a Mindworm, which is fine. I have enough units to definitely take it. Larval mass. Disciplined. Nice. You can see that doesn't at least give me a sec to look at the combat modifiers. All right. So, gained a veterancy level. And you need to gain 20 energy credits. Which in building facilities is the same number of minerals as Scout Patrol, but usually if I'm doing units, it's a little less. Yeah, it can actually be worth building Scout Patrols just as patrol fungus. If you have a high enough morale rating, like as the Spartans, and planet rating, because that also helps acquiring fungus. So say if you run a green economy as the Spartans, you might stick Scout Patrols and Fungus Patrol, especially if they have, if you have the tech for empath patrols. or trance. So at least if they get attacked. But here, maybe not. Alright, I need somebody to guard that colony pod, so I guess Scout Patrol from Maritime Command. This one can go here. I'll protect this patrol. Do I risk it getting bounced to scout north? Yeah, no, not yet. Now, of course, if this one got destroyed, the other would suffer collateral damage, be even more injured, but them's the breaks if I don't want to lose Scout Patrol if any Mindworms come out of the upland wastes there, which might spawn worms a little more often. I'm pretty sure the code on Mindworm spawning is not well understood even today. No one's ever looked in the code at it. Great detail. Guess I'll find out if Sentry wastes turns. Probably some way it does if unit gets to end of their turn. No, because I'm looking at this and it still has its moves. Maybe not. Interesting. Definitely gonna have the alien artifact Sentry because it can't attack anything. There's no reason to be on alert. The former unit is healed up. From the collateral damage from Mindworms before. Hold on. Sorry, noise here. What to do with them? Keep moving units to this tile. So maybe it's a good place for to remove the fungus. So then I don't have to move units out. Like from Planetary Trust. Nah. Not a great idea. When they eventually grow, I want another forest on that river. As would Mountain Command. Problem is that's a full movement away. I could use a road here. And then another road in this open tile that would speed units moving along. It's going to be a while till I actually need that forest there. Ten turns at the earliest. Yeah, so road first. I know it adds to eco damage, but if anything, I actually want to get a pop early. You don't start increasing clean mineral limit with stuff like Centauri Preserves to your first fungal plop. Or second. It doesn't matter. Plus there's an interesting interlude. I probably should move with Uni Rover, but if it does get dimensional gated, yeah. I'll regret it. Darn it.
Pod recovered.
Ah, not a pod, but an alien artifact. Nice. Another artifact, either a tech or 50 minerals towards a secret project. It's going to be with the tech costs. The tech is actually more useful anyhow. I just need a network node. That's the problem. Can't even build those till I finish my current tech, which is done in 4 turns. Interesting.
Turn complete.
Nice. Well, now I know what's on the whole peninsula. Rolling moist. See a little laser on the rover there. Rolling moist. Rolling moist all on that. See any aquatic resources, though I haven't gone to the peninsula. But yeah, I'd probably build base in the flat arid tile eventually. Farms in the rolling moist ones. It's not a huge hurry though, and I'll probably have a farmer go and build a forest there first, because it can spread, including onto the monolith. Forests are nice for reducing eco damage. In the longest run, I'll want to do that. There's nothing else you can really combine with monoliths. It's either fungus or forest. Fungus is actually harmful usually. It allows mindworms to spawn and move through it quicker. But a forest is good. When you find a monolith, it destroys any fungus below it, but so it's only fungal blooms that would normally add. Or in the expansion, there's missiles that can create fungal blooms. Fungal missiles. It's a way to intentionally grief another faction, basically. Wouldn't want to hurry this calling pod yet. Wouldn't want to turn it, and the early wouldn't be able to buy all the minerals, and the ones that are earlier in the queue cost more. So want to wait till at least next turn. Definitely don't want to ever hurry anything till at least the first row is done.
Request confirmation.
Or stages you can do that recon rover decently, but it's not worth it. There's no return on the investment. I'm not in the midst of on the verge of a war. Plus, you can do stuff like buy techs sometimes off the AI for some money. Of course, the Spartans could always decide to threaten me. Mood obstinate. They were, and Bill went now they're obstinate. What? Why are they... It's gotta be because of the shared border. Treat that as a provocation. Yeah, Spartans will come for me eventually. Need enough might that they won't think it a good idea. But they could demand tribute, at which point I'll just say no when I'm attacked, probably, if I have enough military strength. Alright. New bases are about to grow. Maritime Command's getting there. Yep, now an RFET counts as a green unit. It's worth noting. Trying to move to the current tile. Right. Wait there for a turn. Scout Patrol is designated defender because I'd rather lose it over the Uni Rover. Uni Rover is a better unit. Also, I was attacking seas with a Scout Patrol for some dumb reason, which is not worthwhile unless the sea was defended by like impact infantry with no armor or something. Then it might be a good trade-off. All right. Green Scout Patrol. Heading to the monolith. Couple disciplined ones. Both from Maritime Command. How many? 4 Scout Patrols. Oh, they're supporting a lot. So is Mount Command, though. But yeah, if you have a base that was just spamming Scout Patrols, you might as well use them to hunt fungus, because every 10 turns, it takes 10 turns of save support to pay back the cost of the Scout Patrol when it eventually dies, but you get some energy out of the whole thing that way. Of course, the energy you inherently bring in might not be worth quite as much as the minerals that the bases always pay out in support. Oh. But can be used to get energy to hurry stuff at other bases doing more important things. Alright. Time for World Food Program. Oop. Should have done that earlier in case Mindworm spawns. UN University? No. Well, I don't think I've seen that base name before. World Food Program. Alright. I suppose I could use a former here. And then just queue up recon rovers. Oop, sorry. The mic bump. You know, sometimes that makes noise for you guys. Maritime Command. It's too many units supporting Dassault's Mountain. Support to the scout patrols locally. Getting these forms done sooner. And this scout patrol. I probably want one former here. So I can put farms and solar panels up here. Get only one of the 2 energy solar panels provide actually, but I'll get yes, run the nutrient resources. Should get an economy point from the solar panels. Nutrient and economy point. Cool. Help food program grow quicker. They can work this tile, which farm mine for minerals. I'm doing recon rovers because they're faster. Higher quality units. I need to actually explore. If I'm going to build a rover, might as well do the ones that have lasers. They cost the same. Alright. More useful double purpose. They can also be used in war. Alright. Put that scout patrol on. Sentry. Duty. This one, for sure, because it needs to heal. Guess the other one. Somebody needs to guard. Or I could get a Mindworm attack on the base out here where I might end up far away from fungus, maybe even. And this is like a fungal highway that goes right to the base. You can see it. If you look at it zoomed out, it looks like a neural net, which is a hint about the nature of the fungus, that the fact that it's all connected in these giant nets. It's all communicating. Oh, that's a rolling raining tile. I might actually want to clear that up soon. If I find a worm there, it won't hurt. Yes, I'm sending that unit there. Scout patrol. Here will make its way to World Food Program if it can. Maybe it'll fill in Planetary Trust to defend it. This one will go into the fungus next. Three turns on a bloody road. Oh well. Just looking at the terrain. Rolling rainy. Fully a base, we're close enough to use that. Alright, so I was checking something and got some more coffee. You know, I should explain. Am I talking about liberals? I'm an American. My perspective is a little bit, it's shaped by my fact I've lived this country my whole life, and ancestors going back hundreds of years. Hundreds, plural, more than 300 years, actually. One of the oldest families in America, but descend from, at least on one side, over about 200 years in the other, so 300 plus years, 200 years. No, actually, no, wait, that other branch, well, it depends on, some of them are only like 130 years, some are 200, and some are 300 plus. Different branches of family, but my perspective on liberals is these are the people who call themselves economically, socially left wing, economically right wing is basically what a liberal is. They are the Hillary Clintons of the world. Hillary Clinton is a liberal, not to be confused with progressives or like Elizabeth Warren or progressive social democrats, particularly more often, like Bernie Sanders is a clear example. Of course, those people I have no problem with per se, except that they're stupidly naive, maybe intentionally so sometimes. Like with Bernie, he may be intentionally, he pretends that he's naive, but really he knows the things he tries to do won't succeed or will be rolled back, because social democracy is not sustainable. You need to break the power of the bourgeoisie, the billionaire class. Otherwise, they will undo any social democratic gains you make, always and inevitably. But liberals often hypocrites even about their social liberalism. So you see people who tried to slow walk the civil rights movement, people who have been very much in support of the Gaza genocide, which, oh yeah, I thought to mention, Commissioner Lawley's supposedly Pakistani, but I do wonder if the devs meant for him to be Palestinian. They just couldn't do it because it'd be too controversial. There's some things about him that indicate that maybe, because that was the real, horrendous thing that was going on in the 90s already when this was made. That part of the world has been in constant conflict ever since, Nakba, since Israel rolled, since Zionists, who are not all Jews, they're specifically the fascist-leaning, right-wing branch of political Judaism. Like, Judaism is a religion, but when you start like getting into ethno-nationalism, that's not the right way to phrase it. It's political Zionism specifically I'm referring to, as opposed to religious Zionism. So it's not even all Zionists, but they came in Nakba. They burned hundreds of villages, displaced, I think it was 750,000 people in 3 years. And then they've just been committing constant violence and ethnic cleansing, and now genocide, which is a step up from ethnic cleansing because there's a lot more people being killed, and I think I've explained before. Saying genocide requires an entire people to be wiped out is bullshit. Even in the Holocaust, not all Jews were wiped out. There wouldn't be Israel today. There were people who survived it. It just requires that you're killing huge numbers of people relative to the population or in total. So East Timor was a genocide, but I think it was only like 30,000 people or 50 killed. It was a tiny country with only a few 100,000 people in it, period. Gaza is a genocide because if you're probably the real death toll by now is over 100,000 out of 2 million. Or 2.5 million. That is a large enough percent to be a genocide. But when this game was made, I don't think you could say anything about Palestine without being attacked by the government. So, because that's been going on for a long time, the suppression of free speech on this issue. So I think maybe they made him Pakistani and had this India-Pakistan war, which was at least feasible. But I do wonder if Law was really supposed to be Palestinian. So maybe I'm not giving him enough credit with his dedication to human rights. it being more authentic than, I don't know. It's intentionally left vague to the player how dedicated he really is, so you can play him as more ruthless and evil or more of the good guy if you wish. I think that's intentional. Wonder if I should build a road here. If I had these two build a road. Already finished the forest there. Sorry, I'm like considering what to build. You know what? I should just cut back some of this fungus. It's a security risk. I guess my people don't yet understand that it's sentient, so yeah. Sorry, spoiler. This fungus is kind of, well, not fully sentient, but it's semi-sentient. Of course, it's not like a million little organisms. It's more like one giant. So it'd be like cutting a few brain cells from a person. It's not going to kill them, but it's diminishing them. And I suppose if the entire planet is like one person, do you value one life more than, the millions of the colonists? There is a certain ethical utilitarianism in your approach to the fungus if you think about it. Yeah, let's just cut it all back there. And I know Mindworms can't spawn if there's currently a unit in a tile, so that means this farmer is completely safe. This will only be attacked from here. No, this one can be attacked from here too. So none of them are completely safe, but just go about cutting the fungus. Let's see. World Health Organization is size 5. It's growing to 6. And then 7. There's a river forest and probably another river forest after. Because I need the minerals. And I'll have... Suppose I could have double stat deformer here to get minerals a little earlier. But the further I can move fungus back from my bases, the less I'll need to allocate to defense, and the more I can put units on the Spartan border. I really do think the Spartans are coming for me. This might not be optimal strategy, though. Well, no, because the minerals is gotten a recon rover done sooner. Probably get up to the point where this base is putting lots of minerals into support if I'm not careful. I might want to actually run a command nexus. Sentry. Remove fungus. Which then go into farm solar panel combo. Doing a mine. There. Make sure they work it so when it upgrades, this is the only base that can work it. I'll instantly get the extra minerals. Even civil rights can grow up to size 4, I think. There's plenty of tiles to work. Yep, in the forest. Although the UNHQ might need the forest, so maybe just size 3. Grow up to size 4 or 5 without drone issues, so 6 if I'm keeping it to defend it. Farm away.
Request confirmation.
Should probably get this Hydrology Council base done. It's very soon. It'll be probably the last base I built for a while. I'll go here. Darn. If it succeeded, it would make it so UN civil rights couldn't be attacked by Mindworms from this direction. Actually, anywhere, because certain stuff being monitored by a sensor array can't be attacked, though I could be wrong. At least guard it from the southwest. They failed, though. I think I'm actually going to want this recon rover to go up the river. Might fight a Mindworm, get it to disciplined and hardened with a monolith instead of yeah. Could have had him further along, but I'm probably trying to keep units near the Hydrology Council site. Looking for Mindworms.
Turn complete.
Cool. There's a pod there. Could produce resources or something. This is a slowly growing base. I'll do one more colony pod. It's the closest site to where I'd want. Do a forest farm. Cut back all this fungus. Got Maritime Command. Oceanography. You know what? Ocean Institute. The UN Ocean Institute, where I'll study the sea fungus. I guess, theoretically.
Request confirmation.
All right, 16. It's 16 minerals at a cost of 44 energy. It's not great. I think I'd wait a turn. Since it was a highly productive colonist. Working a farm mine. Just to get something less productive out there. Yeah, I'll just have this recon rover scout up the river for mindworms around the open. Maritime Command's gonna grow soon. Wish there's some utilities, like for Civ 4. There's a bug utility that bug for basic user interface game plan changed. So it stands for tells you when bases are about to grow.
Production complete.
Mindworms.
Production complete.
Near World Food Program. I saw mindworms. I think they're south of it. They might be on the river. There's definitely mindworms around. Question is where they are. There they go. Zone of control meant that this unit didn't actually move there. That's 12 to 7. Scout patrol, admirably hardened status. They're still at the larval mass stage, that's good. I don't want this designated defender anymore. Nonsense. There we go. Good they attacked those mindworms. If they attacked me, odds would have been much worse. Fear and surprise, basically. It's good I spotted them. keep going, I guess. Full program will have a full health and scout patrol next turn, but still use another unit around in case they lose the scout patrol. Maritime Command's already supporting 3 units, so. Ooh, Unipod. Nice. Got a scout patrol that went ahead to the place. Then probably not this form and go next. Start clearing out the town, build a mine on it for extra minerals. Scout patrol. Suppose I could use more scout patrols in this area. Go this way to get to that monolith. Pull up some fungus, plant a mine. Now, the thing is, I could have the rover go right to the nearest monolith, but that would soak its movement, so. And the way the road network runs, if I built a road there, it would actually be closer stuff over here, but I'll eventually just build roads this connect this way. Might throw that rolling moist tile someday. And this one. This one, actually. Alright, then. Scout patrols failed to move yet again. Let's do that. Just need to get this bloody scout patrol to head on over to the monolith. Boom. Rocky terrain. I don't think there's any defense bonus, but maybe. Mindworms can move on the river faster, so good place for the recon rover to hang. I hunt for worms. I'll put off the monolith upgrade till it's reached discipline if I can. Each promotion is harder to get than the last, less likely, so. Alright, then, this one. Civil rights. Let's go patrol back to border agency and then yeah, that base would be better defended than most, I suppose. I might send the scout rover on the coast here. There might be a unipod left, or at least knowing the terrain could be good. Alright. Yep, monolith silent. And uni rover.
Turn complete. Turn
That
complete.
unit is sentry. Scout patrol designated defender instead of the uni rover.
Request confirmation.
31 energy credits for 12? Still terrible. Also, I can get one, basically 3/2/2 for yields. So maybe an extra nutrient and extra energy. Pretty sure I'll save more than one energy by waiting. What else would I hurry? This form is eventually. These ones eventually too. another turn, I think. Let's save this though. And I will see you folks next video, because this one's gone kind of long at 80 minutes, almost enough I'd cut in half. So, I wish you folks all the best. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves and me. Always fun getting started. Lead you home. Until next time, it's Northstar. Adieu. And best luck.